Welcome to Solicitors for the Elderly's Annual Conference 2020. Never before have you had the luxury of attending our national conference whilst wearing slippers. If we can get through this year that we've just experienced, I'm confident as a profession and as a group we can handle whatever 2021 has to throw at us. I'm delighted to introduce someone who surely needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway. She's a long-term member and stalwart of SFE, an exceptional speaker and legal writer. I'm delighted to welcome back Caroline Bielanska to tell us about end-of-life decisions.
Broadly, most people are quite comfortable talking about death. 70%. My house, it's a lot of time we spend talking about death with relatives and things. But what that doesn't show is it doesn't actually always translate into people having those discussions. And 23% of older people over the age of 75, haven't actually said to their nearest and dearest what their wishes were. So how do we as a society, as a legal society, ensure that what people want actually becomes a reality? Well, it is really about having a conversation. The research on this shows that having a conversation is good for the person who's dying, but also for their nearest and dearest. What it shows is that there's a better quality of death for the person who dies and less emotional distress for those behind, and that's got to be good.
Now, if anyone knows more about care home funding than Cate, then I've never met them.
Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. I think there are actually lots and lots of people who know more about me or as much as I do about paying for care. They just don't like talking about it perhaps as much as I do. We start with what happened in March with the pandemic. The Emergency Coronavirus Act, which came in on the 23rd of March, suspended the duty of the NHS in England to assess for continuing healthcare, and similar measures in Wales suspended the Welsh Health Board's duty to assess for continuing NHS healthcare. Unlike social services, who have a duty to respect choice, if our clients can put the money into the equation through a third-party top-up or a first-party top-up to have their choices met, the NHS is not under any legal duty to respect choice, and that can be a huge problem.
I will shortly have the great pleasure of introducing Professor Lesley King.
There are particular challenges to taking instructions if you can't do it face-to-face, but actually they're only versions of the same challenges that we always have. Making sure that you document things properly, making sure there are no misunderstandings, making sure so far as possible that you take steps to stop people challenging the will. In April this year, everybody thinks that video witnessing is not possible. This procedure should only be used as a last resort. But obviously there's no policing of that.
I just want to thank you all once again for attending, and to thank all of our speakers. I think you did a brilliant job today. Thank you also to our sponsors. We're planning on having our next annual conference in just over 6 months' time in June. Again, dates on the screen, 24th of June 2021, so please save in your diary.